I want to welcome you to this virtual recruitment drive, and we are so pleased that so many of you have joined us this evening to hear about the exciting programs and the exciting things that are happening in the Faculty of Humanities and Education here at the Cayfield campus of the University of the West Indies. I am Terence Innes, and I am the Deputy Dean Outreach, and I will be chairing this event's activity. I'm just going to introduce the colleagues that are with me. We have the Dean, Professor Frederick Oshien Odiambo, who will speak to you shortly. We also have, in terms of heads of departments, we have Dr. Laurette Bristol, who's the Director of the School of Education, and she's joined by Dr. Jason Marshall, Dr. Vernon Knight, and Dr. Jason Marshall, Dr. Vernon Knight, and I think there's one other colleague from this,
Dr. Sandra Robinson.
the Sandra Robinson, who's also with us. Thank you. We also have, we'll be representing Codrington College. We have Dr. Curtly Sands, the Department of History, Philosophy, and Psychology. We have Dr. Rodney Worrell, and we also have the Deputy Dean Planning, Dr. Tara Innes. And we also have Senior Assistant Registrar, Ms. Pat Atherley, and the Assistant Registrar for Admissions, Ms. Carol Jacobs, and Carol Jordan, sorry, and Ms. Rosemary Bell from the Suru Department. So thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to get started, and I'm going to invite our Dean, Professor Frederick Oshien Odiambo, to give his brief remarks.
Right, thank you, Chair, and good evening, everyone, and especially to our prospective students. Now, welcome to this virtual session of the Open Week of the Faculty of Humanities and Education, the University of the West Indies, Cayfield campus. My name, as you've been told, is Frederick Ochieng Odhiambo, and I'm the Dean of the faculty. Now, the faculty offers a variety of interesting undergraduate and postgraduate programs from which you can choose. I'm not going to outline the programs since the heads and coordinators will speak to that later. For now, I only want to let you know that you have an interesting list of programs within the faculty. At the moment, I wish to emphasize the importance and relevance of studying disciplines within the humanities and education. The disciplines within the humanities and education, assist in creating a better world. The disciplines are concerned with the creation of a world worth living in. Obviously, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM, also have important roles to play, no doubt, in creating such a world. Scientific and technological innovations have made our life easier, no doubt. But alongside these innovations is the need to study humanities to make these innovations necessarily consistent with good life worth living. Additionally, education is significant. In fact, there should be a consistent and corresponding synergy between STEM and humanities with attendant sound education. As scientific and technological advancement take place, so too should the study of humanities and education of citizens. It is often asked rather rhetorically, of what use is it to gain the whole world, right, but lose your soul, right? So while STEM assists us gain the world, right, humanities and education takes care of your soul. Therein, prospective student, lies the general rationale and usefulness of studying disciplines within the humanities alongside education. Now, studying disciplines within the humanities alongside a sound education will inculcate in you the so-called soft skills. Skills that include and not limited to the following: critical thinking, effective communication, creative problem solving, relationship building, working well in teams, right? These are the sort of skills necessary in today's world of work, which is changing and becoming more and more unpredictable. It is suggested that a lot of graduates coming out of universities now, right, are going to change their careers 5 to 7 times within a very short while. So those are better rounded soft skills one gains from studying humanities will really become important, right? Having them is now seen as a strength because one can only carry them from one occupation to the next. In addition, recent studies highlight that these types of soft skills, the ones humanities and education graduates gain, are what helps land jobs. Studying humanities and having a sound education gives one an assortment of soft skills, and as an employee, this would make one more flexible. One can oscillate from one role to another and adapt faster to changing roles and times. Studying humanities and having a good education, therefore, makes one become an asset, right? You become an asset. The value of studying these disciplines is not only epistemological, but pragmatic as well. I therefore invite you all to join the faculty come next academic year or as soon as you can, right? You will be most welcome, and I can assure you that you will not regret that decision. I wish to leave you with a proverb on education. It reads, when educating the mind of our youth, one must not forget to educate their hearts. This is the mantra of programs within the Faculty of Humanities and Education. Right, so prospective students, you are all very much welcome. Thank you for listening to me, and back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Dean. And I hope our students have heard you, that we're looking forward eagerly to seeing them in the next academic year. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to now invite the Deputy Dean Planning to offer some very brief remarks. Dr. Innes.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to this evening's session. It's a very great pleasure to be here and to ensure that you all have all of the information that you need, or any questions that might be answered about research programs, postgraduate programs. So these are taught master's programs, research MPhils, research PhD programs that we offer in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. I know that there's always a very big cohort of students or prospective students coming in for education. So I'm very pleased to see all of our colleagues here who will be available to answer your questions on all of the taught masters and diploma programs, but also the research programs in education. And then we have colleagues here from language, literatures, linguistics, and they have a very exciting master's, the Master's in Caribbean Studies. And in the Department of History, Philosophy, and Psychology now, we have the research programs in history and philosophy. Hopefully we'll get some psychology ones on the books very soon. And we have two very exciting programs that we do jointly with universities, the University of Glasgow. So that's the MSc, MA in Repertory Justice. And then there is the Global African Studies program with the University of Johannesburg. So I'm really hoping that we are here on hand to answer all the questions that you might have. I was very pleased to hear the dean speak about all of the transferable skills that humanities students have moving into research degrees, moving into master's programs, and then taking them out into the world of work as well. That's so important for living in today's world where we're sometimes out of touch with the real world. We're being brought into the digital world, but we need to be in touch with the real world. And we offer those real world skills of being able to be observant, accountable, having those critical analysis skills, making sure that we are able to relate to one another in the real world, but also in the digital world as well. So thanks so much for coming out this evening, and I'll turn back to my fellow Deputy Dean. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Innes. So we're now going to hear from our heads of departments. And we're going to start with my colleague in the School of Education, the director, Dr. Laurette Bristol and her team. Dr. Bristol?
Thank you, Mr. Innes, and good afternoon, colleagues. I'm really pleased to see the number of you who are here with us this afternoon to listen and understand and learn a lot more about our programs. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what is on offer within the School of Education, and I'm going to get some support from two very special people within the School of Education. Dr. Verna Knight, who is serving as the coordinator for our B.Ed programs, and Dr. Jason Marshall, who is the coordinator for all our graduate programs. That means our taught masters and our MPhils and PhD programs. And because we are educators, it's important for us to make sure that we take our time and take you through what we are sharing with you today. So just give me a minute. Let me just share my screen. Right, so you should be seeing my screen here. And importantly, I think it's important that we understand that for those of you who want to be at the coal face of change in the society, our dean talked about transforming hearts, our dean talked about transforming minds. And therefore, it's going to be important as you think about entering into our programs within the School of Education, that the work that you are doing is not just transforming hearts, it's not just transforming minds, but it's also changing the world that you're living in. So importantly, we have to keep in mind that entering the School of Education and taking on a program within the School of Education ensures that you get to be the change that you want to see. So I will hand over now to my colleague, Dr. Knight.
Dr. Bristol, your slides, you're not seeing them in the view format. If you can make that adjustment. Right, we're not seeing it. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, Dr. Knight, over to you.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the School of Education. I'm going to just take you through briefly, just for about 2 minutes that I have. We're just sharing a little bit about the Bachelor's of Education program. For those of you who are looking to be subject specialist teachers, or you be looking to be an education officer, you might be looking to be a school leader, the starting point for you is definitely our Bachelor's of Education degree program. We have several offerings in a number of core areas. You can take a Bachelor's of Education degree in early childhood education, special needs education, and we also have an offering language arts and literacy education, mathematics, social studies, and science education. Our main offerings at the Caveville campus are early childhood education and special needs education. They are always in demand. But we offer the other specializations to our teacher training colleges who need them. And so most of our teachers would access the specialist areas through our teacher training colleges. But definitely, we want to invite you to look at our offerings in relation to early childhood and special needs. The entry requirements for those persons who do not have CAPE, you certainly can still attain entry through possession of at least 5 acceptable passes, grades 1 to 3 at the CSEC examination level, including English, of course, and at least one other subject like a foreign language, mathematics, geography, or an approved science subject, but it must total 5 in all. And if you have CXC certification, not CAPE, you will be registered under what we refer to as lower matriculation, which requires you to complete the program in 4 years rather than 3. If, however, you do have CAPE level certification, at least passes in 2 units of CAPE, or an associate degree from BCC, for example, you are allowed to complete the program in 3 years. For those persons who will be accessing our specialized areas like mathematics, social studies, science, etc., you're required to have a teacher training certification, which means you should have completed teacher training at either Urdeston Teacher Training College if you're from Barbados, or from any of the, or completed that training at any of our teacher training institutions across the region, at least a 2-year program. That is for the specialized areas. However, this is exempted for the early childhood area of specialization. As I indicated, that is just simply 5 CSEC subjects for a 4-year program, or the 2 units of CAPE for a 3-year program. One thing we often do emphasize is that our early childhood program, unlike the others, requires you to do a final year of teaching practicum. In other words, you must make space to be able to complete a stint in schools. And you can certainly see us to get more information about that. But because you're not trained on entry, it requires that you spend that time in the school system. It's really exciting at the School of Education right now. And so we encourage you to see us, call us, email us for more information.
Thank you
so
Dr.
much.
Knight. Over to Dr. Marshall.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Just a pleasant welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for expressing interest in the Faculty of Humanities, and more specifically the School of Education, for those of you who are interested in our programs. As Dr. Bristol said, I am the program coordinator for the graduate programs in the School of Education. And as you can see here, what we've done is we've looked at the critical areas in education where we see a need for competency, and we've designed programs relevant to those areas. We have curriculum studies, educational leadership, inclusive practices, and so on. And we have a couple more programs that are likely to come on stream very soon. We're looking to have a mathematics education program, as well as an early childhood education program at the master's level. So these are taught master's program. In addition to the taught masters, we do offer research degrees in education, particularly the MPhil and the PhD as well. And the focus here is obviously a bit different. These are research degrees, and you culminate this experience basically by producing a thesis, which will be examined at the PhD level by internal and external examiners. And you can visit our website for a bit more information in terms of what is expected. In terms of the Master of Education program, the basic requirements, you have to have a bachelor's degree. And if you look at the listings here, you would notice that a common thread is that you have to have at least some background education to enroll in our programs as well. Next slide, Dr. Bristol.
I've changed change it. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not seeing change. So if you are interested in our programs, please contact us via the email below. We also have a contact number below as well for you to reach us at. So we look forward to hearing from you. We have exciting times ahead for you. So apply as soon as you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Dr. Ennis, Mr. Ennis, over to you.
Thank you very much, colleagues from education. We have heard of the exciting programs. Now, I know you have a lot of questions. So what we're going to do, we are going to let all the heads and the registrars speak first, and then we will entertain all the questions. So note your questions. You can put your questions in the chat, or you can ask verbally. We now go over to the Codrington College. I'm going to invite the Dean of Codrington College, Canon Dr. Curtly Sands, to briefly speak to you about the programs at Codrington College. Dr. Sands.
Good evening, everybody. And thanks for affording me the opportunity on behalf of Codrington College to share with you what we are about as the Department of Theology in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. We deliver 5 programs in theology for the University of the West Indies. And these 5 are the Licentiate in Theology, a Bachelor of Arts in Theology, a taught Master's in Caribbean and African Theology, an MPhil in Theology, and a PhD in theology. Additionally, we offer a Codrington College diploma in religious studies. This is one of our very popular programs of study, popular throughout the Caribbean. It's been going on for quite a few decades now. Now, a basic assumption underlying what we are about here as the Department of Theology in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. Our reality here in the Caribbean speaks to ourselves as a melting pot for the great religions of the world and any number of Afro-Caribbean religiosities. And given our context, from a theological perspective, we are in large measure concerned with our identity as Caribbean peoples from a Caribbean religious cultural perspective. And because we are a melting pot for religions and religiosities, it's important for us as Caribbean peoples to have a knowledge and understanding of the various or multifarious faith communities in the Caribbean. And in the light of this knowledge and understanding, to have a profound mutual respect for each other as members of our respective faith communities. And all of this is in service to the peace and tranquility of our region and our human flourishing in this paradise called the Caribbean of the Bahamas. And I am available to answer any questions pertaining to any of these 5 programs of study. To repeat them, the Licentiate in Theology, which requires 60 credits for graduation. The BA in Theology, which touches on a number of other subject areas found in the other social sciences, in the Faculty of Humanities and Education. And we would need 90 credits to graduate in the bachelor's program. The taught master's program in Caribbean and African theology is an interdisciplinary program of study involving the departments of theology, obviously, history and philosophy, and the Faculty of Culture. And for graduation, we will need between 40 and 45 credits, which include 15 credits for a research paper. The research degree programs, namely the Master of Philosophy in Theology and the Doctor of Philosophy in Theology, these are, to state the obvious, research-based programs of study. And in addition to one's research for the MPhil, one would need to complement that research and its accompanying thesis with 2 seminar presentations. And in the case of the Doctor of Philosophy degree in Theology, one would need to complement the PhD thesis with 3 seminar presentations. So here I am at your disposal, ready to ask any questions you may have pertaining to what we offer here, both on behalf of the University of the West Indies and with reference to the Diploma in Theology, what we offer from Codrington College as well.
Thank you very much, Captain Sands, and we look forward to that engagement. Great. I'm now going to invite the head of the Department of History, Philosophy, and Psychology, Dr. Rodney Worrell, to address you. Dr. Worrell, you're still muted.
Thank
Voila.
you. Yeah. Right. So greetings, warm welcome to the prospective students and to my colleagues. I'm here to speak about the programs of the Department of History, Philosophy, and Psychology. We offer a range of undergraduate programs, undergraduate degrees in history, philosophy, and psychology. And we also offer a range of taught masters. So we offer taught masters in history, in heritage studies. We have a joint master's program called Global African Studies, offered jointly with the University of Johannesburg. So on completion of the master's, you'll get a joint degree from the two universities. We also have a similar taught master as well called Repartite Justice with the University of Glasgow. In addition to these taught masters, we have a number of research masters. So we have MPhil in history, heritage studies, philosophy, and we are hoping from next semester to roll out an MPhil in psychology. And we have PhDs in history, heritage studies, philosophy, and we are also hoping to roll out the PhD in psychology from next semester. But we also have several exciting programs inside of the department. So we can have a conversation later about some of these exciting programs, but I would just mention one. Students are at the center inside of the Department of History, Philosophy, and Psychology. So our students are exposed to reading and researching in the Today in Beijing history program that is aired on VOP and the sister stations about 4 times a day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Worrell. The head of the Department of Language, Linguistics, and Literature, Dr. Corey Belgrave, regrettably couldn't be with us this evening, but I'm going to ask my colleague, Dr. Hélène Zamor, in French to speak briefly on the programs of Department of Language, Linguistics, and Literature. Dr. Zamor?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, prospective students. Welcome to this platform. So we have a number of programs in the Department of LLL, known as Department of Language, Linguistics, and Literature. So we offer BAs in linguistics, for example, with a minor in languages, and also students who do a bachelor, a degree in French or Spanish can also do linguistics as a minor and could also do Lit and English and vice versa. So people who are interested in doing a BA in Lit and English can also do linguistics and as well as foreign language. So in terms of the foreign languages, we offer French, Spanish, and also Chinese, Mandarin at this stage. And the program is also extended to other faculties. The Faculty of Social Sciences, some students can do, let's say, French or Spanish with management studies or international relations. And students who are in the Faculty of Social Sciences and who are doing a BA in management studies can actually do also a minor in languages. So, and then in linguistics, you have a number of courses such as syntax and phonetics, semantics. And in the modern language program, you also do literature, Caribbean and African literature, and Francophone culture as well. And of course, you have the language courses that are required if you do a minor or a major in French and Spanish. Some people have the possibility of doing a double major in French and Spanish, or you could do Spanish with French as a minor, or Spanish, French with a Spanish as a minor. And we also welcome students who want to do a minor in education and who are doing French as a major or Spanish as a major as well. But we also offer postgraduate program. We have taught masters, the MA in Linguistics, MA in Caribbean English literature, Lit and English. We also have the MPhil and the PhD as well. So those programs are very interesting because it opens your mind to what is going on in the society. And also as humanities, I think we play a great role in how society functions in terms of culture and also in terms of language and so on. So if you decide to do, to join the faculty for the first time as an undergrad student in our program, for languages for sure, you could join either with a CSEC or CAPE or an associate degree. But you gotta bear in mind, if you have a CSEC, you will have 4 years. And if you have CAPE or an associate degree in French or Spanish, you enter first year, so you'll be in a 3-year program. Mm-hmm. And in terms of I just want to, can I share, Mr. Ines, can I share my PowerPoint quickly?
Kidia, can we give Dr. Zamor any access to the?
Yeah, she can go right ahead.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share a bit of some information for the masters and the top masters and the research. So I just want to let you all know that I don't want to be too long.
Yeah, just briefly.
Yes. So for the MA in Linguistics, you have different subjects such as applied linguistics. So some students, actually students who did a BA in foreign languages, they are welcome to do a master's program in linguistics, because that will reinforce their skills in languages, and you could do it part-time or full-time. So this is what I want to share. A master's program, you have, if you full-time is 1 year, and if you are part-time is 2 years. The MPhil full-time is 3 years, and MPhil part-time 5 years, and PhD 5 years if you are full-time, and 7 years if you are, if you are part-time is 7 years, but if you are full-time is 5 years. And of course, you will have, for whether you're doing a Bachelor of Arts in those subjects or a top master's or MPhil or PhD, definitely you will have to write what we often call a thesis. And of course, on a topic of a choice, but you have to have the approval of your supervisor and whether to make sure that the topic is, is correct and so on. So I think I don't want to be too long, so I'm going to stop there for the time being.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Zamor. And yeah. I just want to add quickly that University in 2022 introduced a foreign language policy, requiring all students entering the university who do not have a certification in foreign language. You're required to do a semester course in a foreign language, but we can discuss that during the question and answer section. All right, so we have 3 more speakers, and I am going to introduce now Miss Carol Jordan, and she's the Assistant Registrar of Admissions, and she's going to speak to you about the admissions process here at Keyville. Miss Jordan?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This evening, I will share some key information with you about our admissions process. We will also have Mr. Ellis joining us, who will be available to answer any specific questions as it relates to our MPhil and our doctoral programs in the question and answer section. Now, our beautiful campus is not just a place of learning. It is a community where students from across the Caribbean and around the world come together to explore creativity and their cultural heritage. Now, we take pride in our modern facilities, our rich student life, and our extensive network of international exchange partners that you can use to expand your educational horizons. Now, we offer both 3-year and 4-year programs, and I know that some of you may have already gone through the process of making your application and so on. But we do offer a 3-year and a 4-year program. Now, the 3-year program, applicants that would be considered for a 3-year program would be those who have a minimum of 5 CXCs, including English language, which is compulsory, and 2 units of CAPE, or would have done an associate's degree from an approved institution with a GPA of 2.5 and above, or would have done an approved teacher training college diploma or certificate. We also have the 4-year program, and for those persons who have only their CXCs, English language being compulsory, in addition to a foreign language, mathematics, geography, or a science subject, and 3 other subjects can be considered for almost any of the programs that we have within the Faculty of Humanities and Education, with the exception being one of our programs, psychology, the BA in psychology, you must have English and math. Now, if you are interested in doing, let's say, or Spanish or French, then we would want that you have at least Spanish or French at your CXC level. For our graduate programs, each level has specific entry requirements. So if you're interested in a certificate, a diploma, a taught master's, then you would have you would require a minimum GPA of 2.5 or lower second class honors degree or equivalent. For those interested in the MPhil, you would need to have a minimum of a 3 GPA or upper second class honors, along with a research proposal. And for those interested in doing the PhD or a professional degree, the requirements include either an MPhil degree with a research proposal or a taught master's, which would also include a research component of about 25% of the credits. For our undergraduate applicants, several documents are required to complete your application. Your birth certificate. For Barbadians, we would require that you bring your national ID, your Barbados national ID. We also accept your SAT scores for those who may be coming from an international country, along with your high school transcript. We ask that you provide us with your academic certificates. If you are currently at a college, you must send us your official transcript, which must be sent directly from the granting institution or you may have it assessed by the World Educational Services and then have it forwarded to us. For our postgraduate applicants, you need to have your application fee, similar to undergrad, your application fee, your birth certificate. The difference between undergrad and postgrad is that we require your referee reports in addition to your CV. For those students who are those applicants rather, who were students with us before, as long as you were not at the Five Islands campus, we can access your transcript. So you would not be required to provide us with a transcript. However, if you were not at the UWI, if you were not at one of our sister campuses or K-Phil campus, you will be required to have your official transcript sent directly to us from the granting institution. As well as if you're doing your MPhil, you would need to send your research proposal. If you're interested in doing the PhD, likewise, you would also have to send that proposal as well. Now, one of the things that we want to make very clear, the documents are mandatory for processing your application, and missing documents will cause delays. We will send you reminders that we need these outstanding documents, but delays will occur if when we go to process your application and all the required documentation is not available for us to make an informed decision on your application at that particular point in time. Now, once you have made your application, you are required to submit your documentation, and this should be done 2 to 3 weeks after you receive the upload link from us. Now, once you make your application, you're getting correspondence from us all the time. You would have gotten your declaration page, you would have gotten the acknowledgement page, and then when we go a step further, you will get another piece of documentation from us that allows you then to upload your documentation. And what we ask is that you ensure your documentation is certified. What is a certified document? One that is signed and stamped by any professional person. So it can be a justice of the peace, it can be an accountant at a bank, it can be a principal at a school. But we just want to make sure that what you're sending to us is in fact a true copy of what you would have done. Now, when you get the upload link, it will prompt you with more instructions, how you're supposed to upload the documentation and so on. And it is very important that you understand that you must provide us with a valid email address. Everything that we're doing, whether you are an applicant or a student, we will be sending to you via email. As an applicant, the email address that you provide us with is the email address that all the correspondence we have for you, whether from the admissions department, whether from student services, whether from the SURU department, we will send correspondence to you to that email that you would have provided us with. When you become a student, that email we will no longer use. You will be given a UE email that we will then send the correspondence. So it's very important that you provide us with a valid email address and you keep checking your email constantly to see if we did send you anything. As you can appreciate, sometimes what would happen is you may have, because you may not have gotten emails from us before, it may go to your junk mail. So I'm not saying to go every single day, but as you can appreciate, we would like for you to still check your junk mail to ensure that you are not missing any information that we are sending to your attention. Now, in terms of tracking your application, where you would have uploaded your documents, you can see exactly what is happening with your application. As we process your application and we go from step to step, we will be bouncing emails to you, letting you know exactly where we are at any given point in time. Now, for those persons who would have applied early from November to January 31st, you will be expected to hear something, anything at all from us by March the 31st. And I stress on the something, anything, because we want to share with you, some of you will receive a decision saying you have been offered. Some of you will receive something to say, well, we are on to the next step. We've already processed your application. Here is what is happening next. So you will receive something from our office by March the 31st. And for those of you who have applied in who applied in February and who applied in March, you will hear from us by May 31st. Likewise, something, anything at all, because as you can appreciate, some of you will not be considered for entry because you may be awaiting something. It may be something extra we need from you. So you will hear something from us before those dates, letting you know exactly what is happening with your application. Some will get offers, all of you may not, and it may depend on where you are at in the application process, but we are processing and everyone will hear something by March the 31st. Now, for all new applicants, except those who are exempted from taking the ELPT test. So for example, a person who has CSET English A at a grade 1. For some person who would have gone to our local college, Barbados Community College, and would have done English and communication and got a B and above. Now, I noticed I just mentioned 2, but there are many others which are located on both our page and the faculty's page. That would be Language, Linguistics, and Literature Department. You can also find the information there to see who is exempted from taking the test. Now, if you don't have those requirements, you will be required to take the test. You will be required to take the test. Do note that you are only required to take the test once. So if you take the test in April, whether you are successful or you're not successful, you are not allowed to take the test again. You are not allowed to take the test again. Now, if you are not successful, what that means then is that you would have to take our preliminary English course, the cost of which is $500 Barbados, and you cannot go on to your level 1s unless you pass the test or you do that preliminary English course. Some of you may opt not to do the test, that's fine. And you can go on and you can apply, you can register if you know when you become a student. During the registration period, you talk with your academic advisor, you say, well, you were not exempted from doing the test, but you did not want to do the English proficiency test, you would prefer to do the entire course, which takes an entire semester. You can let them know, just know that that would be an additional cost in addition to your university requisite fees. Now, we offer various financial support options. So for Barbadian undergraduate students, the government offers or covers rather 100% of tuition fees. So as it is right now, the university registration fees amounts to $1,080 for the year. And notice I said right now, because that's for the current academic year, in addition to paying for your ID card and the Pelican perk, something that we have now introduced to benefit all of our students. Now, financial aid is available for students in need, and we have over 50 scholarships from the private sector, institutions, and philanthropists. Now, these opportunities can significantly ease your financial burdens and allow you to focus on your studies. And it's for both undergrad and postgrad. But do note that every scholarship will not necessarily be applicable to you or your program, but certainly you can go through our scholarships to see which one you may be eligible for. For some of our postgraduate programs within the Faculty of Humanities and Education, the government of Barbados, and that would be for our Barbadian students, will also fund your studies. And that is if you get first class honors or upper second class honors. Now, our student financing webpage also provides comprehensive information on the available financial resources. You can qualify for scholarships, awards, grants based on your academic performance, your financial need, specific degree programs, and other criteria as well. But all that information is available and you can take a look at it. We offer, as I would have mentioned before, these for both undergraduate and postgraduate, and there are also bursaries for continuing undergraduate students and research awards for postgraduate research students. So I encourage you to explore these options on our webpage under the student financing section. Now, if you have any specific questions about admissions, do not hesitate to contact us. We're divided into three, where we have the undergraduate admissions, we have the postgraduate taught masters, and then we also have our postgraduate research masters. And you can feel free to contact us if the need arises. So thank you very much for your attention, and we are certainly excited about the prospect of welcoming you first and foremost to the Faculty of Humanities and Education and to the Cave campus, and by extension the University of the West Indies. And we look forward to supporting you on your academic journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jordan. You have shared a wealth of information, and I'm sure the students have a lot of questions. We have two more speakers. I'm going to invite the Senior Assistant Registrar, Mrs. Pat Atherley, to briefly speak to you. Mrs. Atherley?
All right, so are you seeing the presentation?
Yeah, we are seeing, yes, we are seeing.
All right, so I just thought I would show a few visuals, particularly for those who may not be from Barbados and have a concept of what our campus looks like. And also to say I bring you greetings from our principal, our deputy principal, and our campus registrar. And also to make the point, I'm sure that you know by now that we consider the University of the West Indies as perhaps the greatest success story of Caribbean integration. I'm also sure, or I hope you know, that we are ranked, and we didn't rank ourselves. We are internationally ranked as the top university in the Caribbean and among the top 100 of Golden Age universities. And those are universities established between 1945 and 1967, of which there are thousands. And we are ranked among the top 100 in that category. We are at the Cave campus, part of the Caribbean University Network. We are one of two regional universities in the entire world, I'm told, and the other one being the University of the South Pacific. And those are a regional university, a university that has made up its membership from a number of different sovereign countries. So we are one of 5 campuses. There's the global campus, and of course we have our campus in Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and 5 islands in Antigua, but we consider ourselves the most special. And there are many things that make us special. First of all, we are a very beautiful campus, and I'm showing you just a few of our iconic buildings here. I won't tell you what they are at the moment in the interest of time, but to give you just a snapshot. And also on the outside, we try to, to make spaces available for our students to continue their interactions outside of the classroom. And we are fully Wi-Fi enabled campus, so students have access even under the trees. Our campus is divided into 2 parts. What you were seeing just now is our main campus at Cave Hill, but we also have the Paradise Park campus, and that's where our Academy of Sport and our FIFA-sized football field and our Usain Bolt Athletic Stadium are all located, along with our School for Graduate Studies and Research. But we think we are a special campus also because we are a very diverse campus. We are the most diverse of all the campuses of UWI. We draw our students from across the entire Caribbean, English-speaking Caribbean, and even the non-English-speaking Caribbean in some respects. And also an increasing number of international students as well. And that Caribbean network becomes very important when you graduate. And it is good to have friends as you create your business contacts, to have friends across the Caribbean. And all of us who have studied at UWI, I'm a proud graduate of the Faculty of Humanities and Education. It wasn't called that when I graduated. I won't tell you what the faculty was at that time. But just to say, it has taken me through some exciting career opportunities. And when the dean says, you know, that the skills you develop within this faculty can take you anywhere, he was not kidding at all. All right, so we are a fun campus, but we're also a very serious campus. Faculty of Humanities is just one of these 7 faculties on the KFIL campus. We're very big on sport. Our Academy of Sport supports the development of about 14 different sporting disciplines. And we do very well, our sports teams, in local competitions, as well as in our biennial intercampus games. I think it was mentioned by Ms. Jordan just now that we provide many opportunities for our students to spend a semester or a year abroad as part of your program without paying any additional fees. And the partners to which you can go are among some of the best universities in the world. And you can go anywhere from North America, Europe, the UK, as far as South Korea, Japan, China. We have partners in those countries, and you can talk to us in our office, Student Enrollment and Retention Unit, about going on study abroad when you become a student. We have a very comprehensive range of student support and development services offered through our Office of Student Services and Development. And that's just a list of the kinds of services you can expect. Everything from a free shuttle service that takes you into Bridgetown and to your homes within a 5-mile radius of the campus, to a full semester first-year experience program that helps you to make that transition from secondary school, if you're coming into an undergrad program, into a university, and what it takes to be successful as a university student. Wouldn't talk about fees and funding, Mrs. Jordan did that, but just to emphasize that our graduates, when they leave the KFIL campus, they can go anywhere in the world, any university in the world, and they excel. They don't only get in. This young man here, he was a former president of the Guild. Here he is giving his valedictory address. He later went on to Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar, as do many of our graduates. So we want you to think, we hope that by the time you end this session that you will think that you belong at the UWI, because we certainly think that you do. And when you come, we will even give you your own cohort t-shirt. Every year, our students are known by the t-shirt for that year because we change the style every year. So we look forward to having you as a KFIL Blackbird and to welcoming you to the KFIL campus. Our office is the Student Enrollment and Retention Unit. We are known as CIRU, and we are the customer service arm of Student Affairs. So we work closely with the admissions office and the graduate studies office, as well as our faculties. So if you have any questions, general questions about the university as you contemplate applying or joining us, you can write us at ciru@cavehill.uwi.edu or our recruitment email, recruitment@cavehill.uwi.edu. And we also, if you are a social media person, as I'm sure many of you are, we are very active on Instagram and on Facebook, and we share a lot of information that has to do with the road to enrolling as a student. So we would encourage you to follow us so that you can be kept abreast of things that we think it is important for you to know as you contemplate becoming a UWI KFIL Blackbird. So that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Ms. Adley, for sharing that very interesting perspective of the university, that fun side of the university. All right, we have one more, and that is Miss Shania McDowell. She's a student's rep, and she's going to share briefly her experiences here on campus. Miss McDowell?
Yes, good night. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, and we can hear and see you.
Okay, great. Good night, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out to join us in this session. So I'm just going to speak very briefly on what it's like being a student in the Faculty of Humanities and Education, known as the FHE. So in this faculty, you would not only develop yourself academically, but holistically as well. You would gain critical thinking, communication, and analytical skills that would be very valuable in your career. You would engage in thought-provoking courses, which would involve debates, discussion, and real-world applications. You would be offered networking opportunities where you can meet like-minded peers, professors, and industry professionals. In the FHE, many of our programs involve creative expressions through writing, performing arts, and languages. We host events like poetry reading, theater productions, and cultural showcases, which allow you to develop your talents. So I am a final year student in the Department of LLL, and it has been going great for me so far. As Mr. Ennis would have said, I am the Guild representative for this academic year, and it has been enjoyable so far. When you're a student, you would also be a part of clubs under the FHE. You can join language club and you can join the Psychology Students Association. But it's not only limited to that. If you're interested in debating, there is a UE Debating Society. You can join sports, you can do theater, dance, anything that you're interested in. You would be able to build a community and form close bonds with classmates, students from different islands, learn all about the culture, and this would especially help maybe if you're doing history or whatnot. Also being a student, you would have to expect, the course load, because with any student, you would have to balance time management, you would have to balance courses, deadlines, and everything like that. You would engage in campus life, so you would be attending AGMs, you would be attending events that would be put on by the Guild of Students. You would be able to explore career paths. You would get mentorship from professors, explore campus culture. You would take interesting courses such as Caribbean civilization, academic writing. I would say that's about it in terms of being a student, and I would encourage everyone to enjoy campus life to the fullest. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Shania. Thank you. Colleagues, prospective students, you have heard so much in the last hour, and it is time to hear from you. So we're going to invite you to ask your questions for clarification, to share your comments at this time. You can use the chat, or you can just raise your hand so that we can see who is speaking. So feel free to ask your questions at this time. I'm going to ask Ms. Anderson and our team from the office to just assist in the chat, or if anybody has any questions, to let us know who's speaking. Our heads are still here. We have Dr. Bristol, Dr. Rodney Worrell, yes. Right, the question I'm seeing here, can the courses be done online? No, all our undergraduate courses are face-to-face. We have stopped the online programs when COVID came to an end. I am not sure for our master's program if we have any online master's programs. I can ask the senior assistant registrar for grad studies to probably let us know.
No, our programs are in fact face-to-face. You
Face,
may
right.
have a course that, with the exceptions of I saw Dr. Worrell's have that up in the air. So repertory and global is online, but with the exception of those two, with the exception of if, we have to do a remote something, these classes are all face-to-face.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Another question in chat. Good evening from Annetta Brown. Is mathematics a strict requirement for the psychology undergraduate course? And I would say yes, it is a requirement for the psychology course in the Faculty of Humanities. Any other questions? Javier Spencer. I would like information regarding aviation management and license and which faculty it would belong to. Ms. Jordan, you can answer that. I think that's in Capefield School of Business.
Yes, it is. That will be the Faculty of Social Sciences. And I am going to see if we can get someone from the Serial department to take your information, Javier, so we can provide you with the information as it relates to the aviation program.
Yes, if Xavier would, I don't know, the best way to do it, either you can take our email, seru@cavehill.uwi.edu, if you don't want to put yours in the chat.
You can put it in chat, Ms. Adderley, if you want.
We'll put it in the chat and you can send us an email, but I also want to let you know that the Faculty of Social Sciences will be having a virtual information session as well. So we can, once we have your email, we can make sure and, have you attend that as well. So I'll put the Cyril email in the chat and you can send us an email and we will send you the information and then you can follow up.
Thank you. I see Dr. Bristol's hand is raised. Dr. Bristol?
Thanks, Mr. Ennis. I'm just looking at the chat myself and I'm seeing there's a question in relation to our St. Vincent program. So I see Dr. Knight put her camera on. So Dr. Knight, please go right ahead and answer.
Right. I was going to clarify, just in case the student is making reference to our Bachelor's of Education programs, we do have those programs franchised to our TLIs or tertiary learning institutions across several colleges. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is one of them. What they tend to do is offer specific specializations determined by the government. I know they have at least 3 specializations in the upcoming year. So what I would do, so that's new cohorts that are being taken in September. So what I would advise Rochelle Jack to do is contact the community college there. You can always ask for Dr. Karen Thomas, and then she can always update you on those particular specializations the government is prepared to offer through the college there. They work along with us. All programs are offered at the bachelor's level are offered through the college in St. Vincent as well. So it's face-to-face, but it's at the college.
Thank you very much,
Dr. Knight, can you type that in? Sorry, Mr. Ennis. Dr. Knight, can you type that information in the chat? Rochelle is asking for that.
All right, no problem.
Mr. Ennis, again, I'm seeing another question about one of our programs. I know Jason is here. Jason, do you want to respond to the question about the requirements for the postgrad in educational leadership?
Yes, sure. Right. So you have to have a bachelor. This is the master's in education, educational leadership. It's the same across the board from many of our masters. You have to have at least a bachelor's in education degree to enroll, and that must be at the low second class honors level. I'll put the link in the chat to the entry requirements as well, so you get a chance to peruse on your own.
Yeah.
I think the question was also if a teaching certificate is a strict requirement.
Well, my suggestion in that case, because we go through each application on a case-by-case basis, so my suggestion would be to send it through the application with your qualifications and so on, and we will make a determination based on your teaching experience or not. Even if you don't have teaching experience, we will look at it as well and make a decision based on what you have. So my suggestion is to still send through the application, and we will review it.
Okay, great. All right, I see a question here from Camille Braffett. The question is about a requirement to do a foreign language. Previously, I was on site and saw sign language, Mandarin, Spanish, and French. Is that still the case? Yes. In terms of foreign language, if you're talking about the foreign language requirement, if you are required to do a foreign language, you have the choice between French, Spanish, Mandarin, Chinese, sign language, French Creole, and we are hopefully introducing very shortly a beginner's course in Japanese. All right, so those are the options you have for the foreign language requirement. But to do a degree in a foreign language, we have a degree in French, Spanish, and a minor in Chinese. This question from Safir Phillips. I saw that if you have a grade 2 or below for English CSET, that you will need to do an exam. Is this also the same for math? Miss Jordan, can you answer that question?
The math is only for those social sciences and sport applicants. We don't have, it's not for humanities. The English language proficiency test is for all applicants, no matter the faculty, but the math proficiency test is only for those applicants within the social sciences and the sport faculty.
Okay, thank you. Another question, Ms. Jordan, to you. The English proficiency test, can it be completed physically when you attend the school with,
The test is held online, and there are 2 different sittings of the test. We have Tuesday, April the 15th, and Thursday, August the 7th. There are 2 different days in which you can do the test, but it will be done online. You register for the test, and then you're allowed the opportunity to do a practice test and so on. But it is done online. You can't do it face-to-face.
Okay, thank you.
And you also can't do it when you become a student. She asked it when you physically attend the school. So if you're admitted and you come in, you can't do it after you are admitted. Only those 2 opportunities as just explained to you.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. Next question from Lynette Eastman. What would you expect a PhD student to achieve each year over a 5 to 7 year period? And I'm going to pounce on probably Dr. Bristol or Mr. Ellis in this regard.
Oh my God.
Or any other colleague?
So I think what the first thing you need to recognize is that if you're doing your PhD part-time, your maximum time limit is 5 years to do your PhD part-time. So, and we encourage students as far as reasonably possible to complete within that period of time. And when we talk about what is expected, really it's original research that you are going to be engaged in through this journey, an original contribution to the particular field, the particular phenomena that you're investigating. I encourage people to think seriously about a PhD. It's an exciting time to spend time going deep into getting to know your field, because the important thing about doing the PhD and all grad studies is that you begin through your research to craft the rest of your career through the particular field of research that you're engaging in. So talk to us a little bit more about the PhD. You're assigned fantastic supervisors who support you along the way, and we encourage you to finish within the time limit, maximum time limit given to complete. And for your, if you're doing it part-time, your maximum time limit, 5 years.
Okay, great. Dr. Bristol, before you go, there's another question. Is a certificate in teaching a strict requirement for the postgraduate in diploma in education leadership?
I think Dr. Marshall answered that question, and the guidance that we're going to be given is that you still should submit your application. We actually review each case on a case-by-case basis. We do not make blanket decisions because, for example, you may not have the qualification of a teacher. You may not be actually teaching in the school, but you may be engaged in a career opportunity at that time, which may expose you. If you're looking at leadership, for example, which may be exposing you to leadership where your job is about leadership. So we would still encourage you to apply. And of course, the coordinator for that program, Dr. Ian Marshall, is going to take his time and go through the application to look at what you bring to the conversation as we think about considering you for our masters with a specialization in ed leadership. So don't be worried about that. These are general, broad requirements. We still encourage you to apply, and we consider each application on a case-by-case basis.
I thank you very much, Dr. Bristol. This question is from Ms. Jordan. Good evening. And this is from Sapphire. Am I answering this question again? I'm not sure. I saw that if you have a grade 2 or below for English CSET, that you would need to do an exam. Is this the same for maths?
Yes, that was answered already.
That was answered already. Okay. Dr. Teaching of Maths, Special Ed, and Language with concentration in literature. A question from Karen Thomas, sorry. The teaching of Maths, Special Ed, and Language with concentration in literature.
Mr. Ennis, I think Dr. Thomas was actually indicating what are the offers
right
now for St. Vincent. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
We have Dr. Thomas in the space here with us as well.
What is required to complete a minor alongside a major undergraduate course? And we'll get Ms. Jordan to answer this again. What is required to complete a minor alongside a major undergraduate course?
Now, some of our courses do have, so when you go to make an application, some of our courses are major minors, and this is for undergraduate. So for example, you can have a major in Spanish with a minor in management studies. So it would say Spanish with management studies. But then there are some, the Faculty of Humanities offers a wide array of minors, which you would declare at the end of your level 1. So once you come into the program, let's say you come in and you decide you want to do Spanish, you're doing Spanish, you're going through with your Spanish, and then you want to pick up a minor within the faculty, and we can get creative and we can say you want to pick up communication studies along with your Spanish. This is something that you would do internally within the faculty, and it may or may not extend your time a little bit when it comes to your level 1 courses, because it depends on what courses you would have chosen as you did your level 1s. And certainly this is where your guidance from the academic advisor would come into play, because if it is that it is not a minor that is written like the Spanish with management, and you are thinking about doing something else, when you go for your academic advising as a student, you will just indicate to your advisor what it is you're interested in doing as your minor. And then what they would do, they would guide you then, so that in your program, if there is an option to do electives and so on, you will pick up the electives for the minor that you would want to get into, so that way, after you change or add the minor at the end of level 1, you do not end up having to do like an extra 2 courses or so to make up the minor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jordan. And again, another question to you, Ms. Jordan. What does the process of applying for a minor entail?
Now that really is the faculty, because what happens when you apply for your minors, it is you would complete a form called a change of program form. Now you have your, you speak with your advisor, you know where it is you're going, what it is you intend to do. And there is a form within the faculty. You go to the faculty at the end of your level 1s, which is 10 courses, whether you're part-time or full-time. And just to let you know that full-time students here at the KFIL campus does not mean that you're coming to school in the day. Neither does part-time mean that you're coming in the evening. What a part-time student being part-time means is that is how you qualified for entry into the university. So remember, I spoke about 3 years and 4 years. So a 3-year applicant is one who would be considered as full-time because they're fully qualified for entry. And then the 4-year applicant would be one who qualifies as part-time because they have the basic entry requirements to enter the university. And for a full-time student, you have the option to change to part-time if you do not want to come full-time, but part-time can only change after you've completed your 10 courses. So once you've completed those 10 courses, you do your change of option within the faculty and you add your minor at that time.
Okay.
Chair,
Somebody?
Chair,
Yes,
if I may come in.
Yes, Dr. Knight.
Yes, I was just indicating in the chat that education is one common area that a number of persons tend to want to complete a minor. So for example, a person might decide to do a major in a humanities area, but believe that they have some interest in teaching with it. And so they may decide to do a minor in that particular area. And what it really incorporates is just completing about 6 courses in education, which amounts to about 18 credits. But there are specific courses. And so that's why, as Ms. Jordan indicated, you have to make sure that you seek advisement from your academic advisor when selecting those specific courses. I saw someone in the chat ask the question whether it's possible to complete the Bachelor's of Education via evening options. And the resounding answer is yes, definitely. As a matter of fact, the way we at the School of Education is structured is that most, if not almost all of our programs or courses the classes start from 4 p.m. And that is especially at KFIL campus. I know at our teacher training colleges where our Bachelor of Education is franchised, they also similarly try to accommodate our students as much as possible because we understand that we are serving teachers who in many instances are teaching up to 3:30. And so most of our classes tend to start at 4. There may be 1 or 2 electives that might have an earlier start, but even then we try to make sure that there are options for you. So the answer is yes, you can definitely complete it using the evening options.
Thank you, Dr. Knight. Miss Jordan, there's another question for you. I'm so sorry. This student Xavier is saying that I'm not a CAPE student, but would CAPE accept an international baccalaureate certificate along with CSET subjects?
Yes, please. We do accept the International Baccalaureate. What we ask is that you ensure you've completed everything, your theory of knowledge, your extended essay, and so on, and that you have been granted the actual certificate with the scores ranging from, I think it's 30 to 45. So just ensure that when you do send it to us, and what that IB would act then, because you did mention that you did do CXCs, what the IB would do, you know, when I spoke about a college to which we're affiliated with or another institution, the IB then would act like similar to an associate's degree. So then that would make you considered for eligibility then into the 3-year program where you would be fully qualified once you complete that and have the requisite CSET qualifications.
Okay, thank you. And before you go, another question, Ms. Jordan. How do I apply to do a minor in Chinese as an applicant for a bachelor's degree in linguistics?
Right, so I think we just spoke to that for these other two, Sapphire and Nalani. I think we just spoke to that. So once you become accepted, you know, you would declare it within the faculty. Once it is not a minor that is written into that particular program, you would declare it when you become a student, and you can have that conversation certainly at registration when we have our advising or counseling happening at that time.
Thank you. I see Professor Corinne Best, the coordinator for literacy in English, is here. Professor Best, the question is, what minors can we do with an English literature major? Professor Best? Okay.
Perhaps I can just indicate some of the minors that are available in the faculty.
Okay, all right, yes, I'll go to that.
Minors, there's a minor in African Studies, Communication Studies, Chinese, Creative Writing, Education, French, Gender Studies, History, Linguistics, Literatures in English, Philosophy, Psychology, Spanish, Theology. All those are minors that can be done in the faculty.
Okay, thank you. And I see here a question from Sapphire. Can I do a major in English literature and a minor in education? Dr. Knight just spoke to that. And yes, you can. Am I seeing any other questions, colleagues? Do you see any other questions coming up?
Yes, Chair. There is one from Marissa. She's saying, I'm not clear if a student who wants to pursue a master's in education would have to do the English test.
No, the English test is only for undergraduate applicants, not masters, only undergrad.
Great. Right, the question, I'm not sure, Lynette Eastman, which program you're referring to. Are taught courses available to PhD students? And we can have our heads respond to that.
Yes, once you, apologies, let me put my camera on. Once you apply and we take a look at your transcript and we are paying attention, for example, if you're seeking to do a PhD in curriculum studies, a PhD in leadership, we take a look at that and you have a minimum amount of credits that you must complete in the PhD before you start your research component. So that is a requirement. You will be required. I should indicate though, based on your transcript, your supervisor has the discretion to apply for a waiver of those taught courses for you as well. But that has to be done in a conversation with your supervisor when you meet with your supervisor and you determine how you're going to go forward. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question, I'm awaiting this is for Ms. Jordan. I'm awaiting my associate degree and I do not have it yet. Does that mean I qualify for the 4-year program, or am I still eligible for the 3-year program?
As it is right now, if you have the English, what we would consider the EGR, which would have been the math, foreign language, geography or science subject, and 3 other subjects, then you would be qualified for the 4-year program pending. Notice the word we're using here, pending the completion of your associate's degree, to which when you're complete, it is 2.5 and over, we would then offer you the 3-year program. But what that means then is that you have to send your final transcript once it is completed. So even if we offer you the 4-year program now, it will have a clause in it to state that upon completion of your associate's degree, we will review the application again, and then we will be able to make a final decision as to whether you stay as a 4-year program or if you can be considered then as 3 years.
Thank you so much. And another question, do your major and minor have to be from the same faculty? No, there are some programs that have minors with outside of the faculty. For example, you have Spanish with management, for example. So there are some majors that, so to answer the question, majors and minors don't have to be from the same faculty. Next question, English exam is mandatory after being accepted. I'm not clear on this question. This is English exam mandatory after being accepted.
Not being accepted because it is for applicants and not students. So for all persons who make an application, as long as you're not exempted from doing the test, you will be, you are expected to take the test. Now, for whatever reason, let's say you do not qualify this time around, the test is valid for 5 years. We will tell you what you need to qualify. And once you take the test, you wouldn't have to take it again for the next 5 years. So even if you are qualified and you were accepted, but you did not come and you did take the test, the next time that you apply, you would not have to take the test again because it will be valid for 5 years.
Thank you so much. Another question from Ashanti Rose, and this is to Dr. Worrell. What does psychology special entail? And while we prepare to have Dr. Worrell, the other question is going to be for Dr. Bristol or Dr. Knight. I completed my application last night. However, the program I'm interested in studying wasn't listed at the time. I selected Bachelor's of Education and placed my intended program in the brackets. What I would like to know is whether the university will take this into consideration and recognize my bracketed preference. I'm going to perhaps let Ms. Jordan respond to that as well. But Dr. Worrell, you can speak to what is involved in a psychology special.
Okay, yeah. So the psychology special is just like the history special or the philosophy special, where the student will have to do a maximum of 18 3-credit courses. So let us assume the difference between the special and the major is that the student would do 12 3-credit courses between their 2nd year and their 3rd year, or their 2nd year and final year if they're a full-time student. So the special would mean therefore that they would do a lot more psychology programs instead of electives from elsewhere.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Worrell. The next question I tried to ask earlier, I think this is an admin question. I would like to know I would like to know whether the university would take into account the consideration, take this into consideration and recognize my bracketed preference.
Yes.
Carol,
whatever you apply for is what we will take a look at. We will review the application, we process what it is you would have asked for, and then we provide a decision based on what you asked for. So whatever you made the application for is what we will be considering for you.
Okay.
But Ms. Jordan, that's an interesting question, because she's saying that what she really wanted to select was not there. And I was wondering, it'd be interesting to know what, what it was that she was interested in doing, so that we know why it wasn't on the list.
Okay, yes, we're now seeing that. Yes, we're now seeing that. That part. So if she can just let us know what it is that she really wanted to do. And I am wondering then if it is a case where let's say she wanted to do Bachelor of Education with teaching of math or something like that. And that's why she chose the special. So it would be interesting to hear what it is that she was interested in doing.
Yeah, so it sounds like Samantha should contact the office and, give admissions a call or send an email so she can get further advice.
Clarification. Thank you. And Ms. Jordan, again to you, Trevina Seeley, is there any way to reset the login ID and PIN on the admissions login page? Additionally, is it necessary to return to that section if you have submitted the application and received a link for Chad to upload your documents?
Right. So once you have completed your application, you cannot go back to the application. Now, the CHAD portal is where you would go to upload your documentation. If for whatever reason you made the wrong application, you made the wrong choice, you are asked to contact our office. The information is available on the website where you can contact us and let us know what program you applied for and what program you wish to be considered for. And I take this opportunity to say too that when you are in fact writing to us, we would expect that you send the correspondence or you write to us in such a way that it is pretty clear and it is kind of professional in what you're saying. So in other words, we don't want you to write and say, change to Spanish. Or, we want you to write it in a way that we are understanding what you're saying. In other words, we would want you to say, well, I made an application to do Spanish with management. However, that was the wrong application and I wish to be considered for Spanish. And in doing so, you also have to let us know who we are speaking to. Now, some persons may have their email address as Carol Jordan, and I may be able to go up then and, I say, well, okay, she has it as Carol Jordan, and I may be able to go then and look for Carol Jordan. Yes, that may help me in some ways, but suppose we have 10 Carol Jordans. You see what I'm saying? We wouldn't know then who the person is we are asking, we're trying to do trying to make the change for. So it is important that you say who you are and you write it in such a way that it is clear what it is that we are expected to do for you.
Okay. The student Samantha, she's now indicated that the program she wishes to pursue is a BA in Language Art with emphasis on literature.
Dr. Bristol, because this is not a K-Phil applicant.
Right. So I would suggest to that student that she contacts Dr. Thomas, who we have put her contact information in the chat because we manage the St. Vincent applications a little bit differently. So I would suggest that you contact Dr. Thomas and we will take it from there. Once Dr. Thomas has been contacted, Ms. Jordan and Dr. Thomas, and of course we will coordinate and get all of that sorted out for you. So please reach out to Dr. Thomas.
Can we put Dr. Thomas's contact in the?
We already dropped it in the chat.
Okay.
Chair, I just want to go back to Camille Braffett, who has a question here, and I think this is to Ms. Jordan. It's a follow-up question from the one she asked. She said she has a basic level 1 sign language certificate with the Barbados Nationality Disabilities Unit. She wants to know if she should submit this with her documents for application or would it count for anything in terms of moving to another level at the university? So Ms. Jordan.
All right, so I want to be clear because she said she has a level 1. So is this because she wants to get the exemption from the foreign language?
I am making that assumption.
All right, good. So if that is in fact the case, this exemption would definitely go to language, linguistics, and literature. Not this exemption, the certificate. and they would be able to determine whether or not, you know, the eligibility for being exempted from the foreign language course. And Mr. Ennis, I'm not sure if you guys would want to have like the course description and so on, if it is not one.
Yes, when you're submitting that information, you're required to submit the copy of your certificate and the course description.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Another question from Kamisha. I asked a question about the program. I should choose when completed to do my application. Well, she's interested in the bachelor's program in the teaching of math offered by St. Vincent Community College. Dr. Bristol?
Yes, so again, I'm putting Dr. Thomas's name in the chat, contact information in the chat, and we're encouraging all of these persons interested in these specializations to please reach out to Dr. Thomas.
Great. Are there any further questions? Have I missed anything? I'm just reading chat as we went along. Right. Okay. So colleagues, prospective students, I am not seeing any further questions, but I really want to thank you so much for your level of engagement. We in the Faculty of Humanities and Education appreciate your interest, and we really look forward to seeing you in September as we, right, I'm just reading chat, as we begin a new academic year. You can contact us online, WhatsApp. All the information is posted on our faculty page. Admissions, they are willing to assist you at any point in making the journey to KPhil as easy as it can be. So we stand ready to assist you at any call. There's another question from, I have a quick question. Camille has a quick question. So while Camille puts up her question, I want to express our gratitude to Miss Jordan, to Miss Atherley, to my colleagues, heads of departments, deans, the dean, deputy dean, for taking the time out to share, and Miss Shania McDonald, our students rep, for sharing that information to our prospective students. And we stand ready to assist you. Camille's question, I'm currently in the process of doing my transcript. Where do I email it to? What UE email address should I put to send it to? Carol, can you, is this, I'm not sure if it's Carol, Miss Jordan, or
I think that's Miss Jordan. No, I think that's Miss Jordan. Definitely, if Camille is not an SVG student, then thank you, Miss Jordan. So
right, so
that would be admissions@kphil.uwi.edu. And if you are in fact a Barbadian and you're doing it at the Barbados Community College, you can either have them send it to us via email, or you can have them send us the official transcript. But if you are not in Barbados, definitely you can get them to send it to the admissions email. Some transcripts come with parchment where we're given a code to download it. Some are sent directly from your registrars within your examination departments at your granting institutions. I hope we were able to answer you, Camille.
I think you want to emphasize that they can't send it themselves, because she said
they can't.
She's about to send her transcript. It has to be sent directly.
Yes.
Okay, colleagues, we thank you so much. We have been engaging you for over an hour and 44 minutes, and it has been very productive. So again, our gratitude to all of you. I'm not sure if anyone has any parting words before we leave. No.
We look forward to seeing receiving the applications and to facilitating the process of having our journey join us.
Yes. So thank you very much, folks, and have a pleasant evening, and feel free to call us at any time. Thank you.